The idea of creativity between Plato and Aquinas, this is really interesting because if we have to understand the connection between Plato and Aquinas, we can understand also why these two type of philosophers developed the idea of God. In this sense, Aristotle, I think, it was a connection between them. In fact, Aristotle tried to criticize Plato, but the basement of Aristotle, it is the metaphysical idea, and this type of metaphysical idea derived from Plato. This is really important because, Aristotle and Plato were two pagans author, but at the same time, we have to, and in the sense, Thomas Aquinas, it was a Christian author, a Catholic philosopher, but there is a specific type of connection between this type of philosopher in relation with the idea of God, in relation with the idea of impact of God in the physics point of view. We can begin with a video of creativity in relation with these different type of ideas that derive from the demiurge according to Plato or by the first act as Aristotle. In this sense, in fact, the first type of idea that we can debate or we can explain is that the idea of creativity in relation with the idea of different type of differences that there are in the idea of natural world. In this sense, the idea of natural world is important because, on the one hand, with the idea of Aristotle, and on the other hand, with the idea of Plato, it is interesting to consider that people are different and we have different type of attitudes. In this sense, according to Plato, we have to consider, we have to develop, we have to appreciate also, or in particular, we have to study what that specific individual can, how that specific type of individual can contribute to the society. In this sense, according to Plato, therefore, God is the simple thing in relation with the idea of architecture, in relation with the idea of math, because math creates architecture. Without math, it cannot be the architecture. Therefore, in this sense, only math, only some objective rules, only some rules that are the same and always happen. With these rules, we can consider a specific type of architecture. It can exist a specific type of architecture, and this type of architecture is really simple and produce something. In particular, according to Plato, assembles something. It assembles something, and at the same time, after assemble something, it creates times and create a specific type of morality. But this type of differences that are present in the physics world are complex in relation with that simple thing, because that simple thing is made simple thing because it creates the regularity. And in this sense, this type of regularity considers us as in relation with the physics world, and we are different in relation with attitudes, in relation with the idea of metaphysical point of view. In fact, according to Plato, the idea of metaphysical point of view derived from the demiurge, derived from the metaphysical idea, that the pure idea that arrived into the physics world, where therefore in physics world we are limited, but also according to Plato we have different type of consideration that we have to do in relation with our genetic, for example, and we have to appreciate that we are part of a metaphysical way in relation with the soul. We have a soul that is part of a metaphysical way, but we live in the physics way, and we have some specific type of characteristics that are different between us. And this is important because, therefore, the idea of genetic, the idea of cognitivism, the idea of empirism, it's not in contradiction with God, according to Plato, because God is simple. God is the same, always the same. This is really interesting. God is always the same. God is A, and it cannot be C. God is A, and then is A. Human is different. Human is a different type of modality to understand what human it is, because I can consider that I exist, but also you exist. You are different from me. You are different because you have different type of characters from me. You have a different type of reason from me. The genetic is the same in relation with science, but at the same time, or the cognitivism, I can study the cognitivism, but at the same time, the culture is different. The idea of society is different. Yeah, it is important that in general, the human being considers the culture as communities as the same. All humans are in general in connection with the others, but these connections are different. In relation with culture, for example, this is the main idea of Plato. Plato understood that, for example, the city-states are different between them. Athens, how the citizens of Athens develop connections are different from how the citizens of Sparta develop connections. How the different of current developed connections, it was different from how the citizens of Thebes developed connections. This is really important. This is the main important point of view because, therefore, according to Plato, the fact that the citizens of Thebes decided to belong a specific type of community or decided to develop a specific type of social fact, it's not in contradiction with God. This is the main important thing because God only exists in any case. And this is the main pure idea because the soul is in relation with the individuals, in relation with the fact that the social fact is different in relation with the soul because each individual has a specific type of soul in relation with his preponderance, his idea that there is a specific type of soul more important than the others. In that specific individual has the same soul because we are the three parts of the soul in the same idea of the soul. Our soul, according to Plato, is divided from three parts and each one of us has one of these three parts more important than the others. For example, the part of the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Therefore, the part of a philosopher, the part of a warrior, and the part of a worker. But in each society, or better, in each community, in Thebes, in Sparta, in Athens, in Corinth, etc., yeah, in the king of Macedon, in any case, in each of these societies, in each societies, there are these souls in the bodies. And we understand that in any case, the modality of connection between these people is in any case different. This is really interesting because therefore, according to Plato, the society is different in relation with its type of modality to live. But at the same time, the soul is the same in relation with the idea of genetic. But in this sense, there is a promotion or influence of a society to the genetic, to the soul, that produce changing between individuals. Therefore, each individual is different from the others. It is true, yeah, Plato cannot have the idea of genetic as we have. But at the same time, we have to understand that in any case, Plato understood that the idea of society is different. The idea of cognitive idea, people that are more intelligent than others, but in any case, the idea of society that is different, the idea of rules is different, the idea to understand the rules is different because rules are different from Thebes, Sparta, etc. The idea of religion in relation with the same pantheon is different because, for example, in Athens, people prayed much more Athena, in Sparta, much more the god of war. Different ideas of the same, different modality to consider the same gods as the temples. The same temples in relation with the different communities. This is really interesting because then Aristotle rethink about this and translate these ideas, transfer these ideas to Aquinas. Aquinas, in the Middle Ages, developed a specific type of idea of main God as God that produce something, not only assemble, but create something. And this creation arrived into the earth as modality of, in relation with imperfection of the situation of a social fact, but at the same time, because Adams and Eve, for example, the first man and the first woman that did the main sin against God, they took the fruit of Eden, the apple of Eden, that God did them to don't touch. But at the same time, according to Aquinas, the idea of creativity, that it was produced by God, it happens only and also in the worlds, because God is the same thing. And therefore, there is the argument of a metaphysics idea, therefore, God is the same, but in the social fact, on the one hand, there is differences between individuals, and from the main sin of Adam and Eve, from the first man and the first woman, arrive a property in relation with the rule of a property that in any case is human. It's not of God, because only human has to consider as important the property to maintain relationships, but in particular has to consider the idea of law, because law limits the conflict. This is really important because differently by animals, according to Aquinas, The idea of metaphysics, that it was produced by the idea of God and after the idea of main sin of the first man and the first woman, arrived the idea of law that it was produced by the idea of the permission of God. And the idea of law is possible only in the limit world, in the imperfect world that needs of the regulation. And this is really interesting because Adam and Eve understood that they needed of a specific type of regulation. God understood this. And in fact, they arrived into the world. Therefore, there is the idea of social science in relation with the regulation, the idea of law, for example, the idea of economics, how to live into the scarcity with the scarcity, but also how to live in relation with specific type of rules to limit the conflict in relation with only also with the scarcity, with the economical scarcity. But also there is this type of idea of creativity that it's not in contradiction with how we live, or better, how we are, and who we are in particular. Because derived, or better, it's in connection with the metaphysics idea. This is derived from Plato, because the soul in our body is a metaphysical thing that is produced, is derived from God. Therefore, there is no contradiction. As the social fact and the social sciences, for example, law, the economics, but at the same time, the idea of creativity and intelligence that people can have. Bye.